Hello friends, running kimono. So on Tuesday I went to a Rite Aid, one that I don't really shop at a lot if they have a lot of great clearance at this one location. But other than that, whenever there's a really big basket, like a 10 back when you spend 50 or a 10 back when you spend 40, I typically tend to shop at a different store, not this one, because I sometimes have a little bit of snafus here, but I was in town. I thought I would just do a quick little basket and be on my merry little way, and everything went really bad at checkout with the cashier. And so, I wasn't going to talk about this in my video of my haul because it would just be a really long story. So I'm like, guys, give me 500 likes and I'll make a story time. And I think within 3 hours, you guys are like, story time right now. So this is today's video. It was just a really unfortunate transaction. The cashier was going through something, I think, and just taking it out on me, which is so not cool. I was not in a full Karen mood, but just being spoken to this way, it really put me in a box where I was not happy to be there. So I actually asked for a manager to help me out because I didn't want the cashier to help me anymore because it was such an awkward and just a weird transaction. Backstory, I went to a Rite Aid on Tuesday. It was like a regular day. We had this really lovely 10 back when you spend 40. The caveat to this coupon over at Rite Aid is that you need to scan your store card, all of the merchandise in the basket, scan the coupon, press the final pay button. The cashier, when I got to checkout, looked at me and she's like, she just gasped. And I'm like, do I stink? Is there a ghost behind me? Do I have some food hanging off my face? What is it? But she made this face like I was the devil himself. She was terrified of me. And she immediately started trembling. And I thought, okay, maybe this lady's diabetic and something she's crashing. And I'm like, she should not be up here working. And it was just very peculiar behavior. She started stumbling upon her words. She served me before in the past and everything's cool. I'm a very goofy person in real life. I'm very laid back. I kind of know how things go. So boom, boom, boom. I want to get in and out because I actually had to get back to work. Very easy transaction. I was not rushed because I was on my lunch break. I had an hour to deal with this stuff, but it was just one of these typical things. This is not a lot of merchandise, and I didn't have a single manufacturer coupon to scan other than the 10 off 40, and I had a 5 off 25. So 2 things to scan and all this merchandise. Press the pay button. Very simple. So at Rite Aid, just to explain this very quickly, if you scan your store card, scan one piece of merchandise, and the cashier hits the final pay button, the transaction is over. At checkout, the cashier scanned my store card, scanned one scope, pressed the pay button. And I'm like, and the transaction was done. So I didn't even get to my $40. I had $5.49. And I'm like, oof. I'm like, I wanted to buy all this stuff together. And she just looked at me. And then she started with this really weird old-timey talk saying, geez, oh, Pete, this is so stressful. I don't know what to do. This is so stressful. This is so stressful. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, here's what we're going to do. Can I please return this? And I want to buy all this merchandise in my basket together. She tried to return the scope and she could not do it. So she said she had, but she in fact had not. And how I know that is that when we scanned my store card again, it went from $40 to $35. So the $5.49 or whatever, it wasn't returned. And I knew that right away and I explained that to her. And then she started with, I'm trying my best. You don't understand the stress that I'm under. Most customers don't do this to me. Guys, I was in a pretty good mood, but this talk that she was giving to me, just nonstop giving it to me, and I don't know why I deserved this. And then I step back and I'm like, if you can't handle the return, can you call up a manager and they can help me out? Because I think we're having some trouble here today. No problem. The manager comes from the back. She was in the pharmacy, comes to the front, gives me the return. The $5.49 goes back on my card. The manager scans all of the merchandise and all of the 110 off of 40, presses the pay button, and we're done. It was just really easy. And I looked at the manager and the cashier that was giving me a really hard time with the shaking and the stumbling and the this and the that. She's serving another customer, and the customer who's buying a bottle of perfume or spray, it's supposed to be $6.99, but it's ringing up for $9.99 because the customer doesn't have a store card, so it's not ringing up for the sales price. And the cashier's screaming at this woman saying, what do you want me to do? I just work here. So it's whatever happened earlier in the day, she's taking it out on all of the customers. And I look at the manager and look at the situation. I'm like, she did the same thing to me about 5 minutes ago, and that's just not cool. The manager apologized. She's like, yeah, some stuff's going on today. And I'm like, why is she on the floor? And then she just looked at me. She's like, because we're short staffed. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I think the manager should have never have had that cashier on the floor. If she was having a diabetic episode, I don't know if it was diabetes or not. I can only surmise because of the shaking, but something was really, really off. The manager was super kind to me, like apologized and stuff, but I don't think that lady should have been at work on Tuesday. So in the comments of that video I made yesterday, Vanessa said, I want to hear because this is getting ridiculous with folks hating this job and choosing to take it out on the customers. Vanessa nailed it right on the head. That's how I felt, that the cashier was having a bad day and I was getting it. And that is not cool. If you are having a diabetic episode, whatever's happening, she should have been able to just leave for the day. If you don't want to be at work, that's not where you should be. Because between the return initially being told that everything was my fault, I was putting so much stress on her. Scan a store card, scan 8 items, scan 1 coupon, press pay. That's not asking the world. It's not like I came in there with a stack of coupons. It was a weird transaction. In the future, I will avoid that store like the plague. Okay, let me know in the comments what you think, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.